Hey everybody, it's Everett with Ohio for Freedom, the program that is focused for the foreseeable future on talking about things in the church that really should not be in the church, but we wholeheartedly believe are in the process of getting out of the church. And so we're looking forward to that day where we can make a little bit of a course adjustment and change focus a bit. But in the meantime, we're going to be faithful, going to be on mission. And so thank you for being here. We really, really appreciate it. I'm going to jump right in. There is a lot of material to go through tonight. And helping me to digest all of this with expertise and sophistication is Robyn Torgrimson of Mega Maniacs. Robyn, I think we've met before. How are you today?
I'm good, Everett. How are you?
I'm good. I do want to apologize for a wardrobe upstaging. The Ohio for Freedom staff is off on Saturday, but I did call ahead and they reserved this designer t-shirt with the V-neck. So please don't be intimidated by that. Just be yourself and it'll all be good. Okay. But I did want to give that apology. So listen, folks, we've got so much media to go through and so much we just can't get through. And this is not going to be a short episode, but we're going to do our best. And I'm just going to dive right in because it's coming up. And so, Robyn, let's just do this. If we could start this way, can you tell the audience what they are looking at? Now, that's Rod Parsley and I think Kenneth Copeland on stage, but I'm not talking about the individuals. What are people looking at?
So, focusing on the cross and then the bricks that are kind of laying around that,
Right.
This is a display that they continually use in some form or fashion during the prayer cloth season and the prayer cloth service. And what they're saying this is that all of those stacks and stacks that you see are prayer requests of people that have written in requesting a prayer cloth and have sent the appropriate amount of money or best love gift or what have you to receive the said prayer cloth.
Okay. Is that what they're actually looking at? Or is that, because that looks like about, several thousand prayer requests. Is that what they're actually looking at?
No, and most of that is fake. So all of those stacks that you see, especially underneath, those are all going to be just empty envelopes, empty reams of paper that have been made to look like prayer requests. And then typically they will scatter some real prayer requests on top. So if anybody gets close enough, but I know my first year there, when I was asking about it, I was told that if I looked close enough, which I did, that all of the envelopes had the warehouse manager's name on them. And sure enough, that's exactly what it was. So they have to go through this process of creating these fake prayer requests and stacks so that it appears that they have hundreds of thousands of prayer requests up there.
Maybe even millions, because I'll play a clip later. Well, listen,
millions, yeah.
I mean, I'll show you that, folks, here in a minute. But wait a second. Now, Robyn, I completely believe you, but do you have anything to back the? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe you do have something to back this up. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so these are the prayer requests or prayer cloth envelopes that do get sent out to anybody that's registered with World Harvest Church. And I'm sure anybody that's listening, even I received these in the mail when I worked there. Even though I didn't go to church there, I was still on the list and I received these in the mail. But they also use all of these extras to be underneath to appear that again, that there are stacks and stacks and stacks of prayer requests, but it is in fact what you're looking at, which is things that are actually being sent out to people requesting money for the prayer cloth.
Yeah, but I mean, at least it's not deceptive or anything, right? So it's not like they're trying to create an illusion of something that isn't exactly right. What are we looking at here?
So in my first season of Maniacs, I believe it was the third or fourth episode, I actually talked about the prayer cloth services and kind of buying your blessing, I believe is what I titled it. And this was one of the first messages that I received. And this was a Valor student that was in the work study program and worked at the warehouse, and he was confirming the prayer cloth that the prayer cloth envelopes that they were not real.
I gotcha. He also said that Rod Parsley let out a cuss word when he was talking to, but that's only one person. So I mean, the scripture says in the mouth of two or three witnesses. So we can't really pay. Oh, wait a second. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this was the one of the comments, and I think we'll see several, but this is one of the comments on the actual episode that I did. Someone saying that they worked at the warehouse and that 100% that the prayer claws were not prayed over, the envelopes were all a prop. And I was told that as well, that the only time those prayer claws actually got prayed over is if someone at the warehouse was doing it. They were typically never on stage or anything, so they were being shipped in from wherever they buy them from, somewhere in China, and they would stay at the warehouse. And luckily, there were some great people there that would pray over them, but these prayer cloths are not being prayed over by Rod Parsley and the people that they would lead you to believe are praying over them.
I gotcha. He also says that he worked in the warehouse in 2015. Maybe one of the reasons Rod didn't have time to pray over them personally, because that's the year he became an apostle when Kenneth Copeland prophesied an apostle, which he did. That was after he told Rod Parsley's mom that the next 5 years would be the greatest years of her life before she died 3 years later. So he was pretty busy at that time. But what are we looking at here? This is just more comments. What does this one say?
Yeah, this is another comment on that same episode that I did regarding this person said, I don't know what their actual real name is, but
Right.
regarding the piles of prayer envelopes used as props, I remember years ago seeing something like 3-foot high piles of paper on TBN that were supposedly prayer requests that they prayed over. And he's like, oh, or he or she is like, those look like reams of paper, like printer, the printer paper reams. And that is absolutely the case. They are they're reams of paper, or they are these fake envelopes that have nothing inside.
But as I'm reading this, it looks like he's saying that the TBN, they faked their prayer cloth, prayer request display like Parsley did. But at least Parsley's people in the clip showed you some random disorder. So you got to give them credit. The fake prayer prop cloth, I get confused. But at least Parsley's fake prayer cloth prop is better than the TBN prop. What are we looking at here?
Another comment on one of that episode that she worked 2 summers processing prayer claws in the late 90s. Underneath the table were trays full of mail ready to go out the day after camp meeting. The ones on top were handpicked, but I'm sure there were a lot of filler in them. It's weird to say my first job was processing prayer calls.
This in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses threshold, and then there's other testimony, folks. But this is what we can show you. This young lady, I'm aware of. What is she talking about?
So she's saying, in regards to the prayer clause, that anybody that was working on the production team, it was kind of their job to get some real prayer requests, either from the mailroom or the prayer center or the warehouse, and they scatter those real prayer requests on top of the mock-ups, so that, again, if anybody gets close enough, that it looks like it's real, because the ones on top are likely real, but everything else underneath is all fake.
Is all fake. That's pretty strong words. Let's just keep going here. We're on a roll here. And by the way, maybe we should point out this comment is from Brianna, Monique. I get her to. I don't know which name she uses first, but she actually was on staff at World Harvest for a number of years. Am I getting the right person with the right comment?
Yeah, so she was a part of the work study program and did work in the production area during her time there.
You know, he's the king of the castle. He's Pastor Rod. And to have to face that, it was kind of traumatizing on multiple levels.
Garrett, I'm going to ask a couple questions, and I apologize because this is, we ain't never been here before.
Yeah.
We all have a memory.
Yeah.
In your mind's eye, in your memory,
right?
Can you still see those images?
Unfortunately, I can.
So you really can't unsee a naked Rod Parsley worldwide evangelist. You can't. The guy on the platform, you can't unsee that.
Of course, that was 17 years ago, approximately, and memory fades. Memory is not as close as it once was. However, when I give thought to Rod Parsley or think about World Harvest Church, I can't help but to think of that image of Rod Parsley naked.
Isn't that kind of like mental rape?
Is, you know, in a way. And maybe that was his intention. It was like he knew what he was doing.
Do you think he was trying to see, was that like a sexual come on? Is he a homosexual at least part-time? Or
I want to say for the record that he never tried to come on to me or wink at me but there was something absolutely weird. Why are you standing in front of me completely naked? You're walking back and forth while your bath water's running or whatever.
I apologize for asking this. Was it part of your responsibilities to run his bathwater?
Yes, that's something that we were supposed to do, be prepared, but I'm new to it. I'm in shock.
It's kind of like filling up the swimming pool. Make sure the swimming pool.
Yes.
You didn't know he's going to come parading around.
Right.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere is so intense around him, and that I was in constant anxiety, shock, awe, confused, that I couldn't do that position.
Some people that will see this will say, well, the minute that would have happened, I would have just hightailed and bucked out I would have got out of there.
Yeah.
How would you answer that person?
Well, for one thing, you have to have a plan of escape, and it's not easy to escape out of the back quarters, the executive quarters back there, for one thing. I looked up to Rod so much, I didn't know what to say, think, or any of those things. You know, as a young man, a young preacher, in my mind, I put him on a high pedestal.
How high a pedestal?
Very high. You know, I put him, people would talk, this is my favorite preacher, and Rod was mine as a young man.
Wow.
Because I felt like I connected with him as...
Did Chad Williams, the guy that trained you, did he say, oh, by the way, Rod will be walking around totally stark naked and talking to you totally stark naked?
No, of course. He took me around within a week, maybe just a few days, showing me, here's the closet, here's this.
Did the lady that first introduced you...
Oh, absolutely.
Did she... But did she know this would be part of the job description to deal with full frontal naked Rod Parsley?
No, that was never, that wasn't part of the training. I was in so much shock and disbelief almost of what I was experiencing.
Does Canfield know this goes on?
I don't know.
I'm going to ask you a question that occurred to me. We've all been places in churches and youth camps and conventions. How many naked preachers have you ever seen?
This was the first. Right. It was the first for me.
And you actually, because you guys didn't stay there very long, but you didn't stay in that position forever. In other words, you finished Bible college. Looking back on the real Bible classes that you took,
Yes.
is there anything that actually justifies that behavior that he, I'll use the word perpetrated. I don't want to talk politically correct. It's just the most gross and disgusting thing. This is in a place in my brain that nothing else exists. I've never heard of anything like this.
Right. No. Nothing prepared me for that.
Does his family know that he does this with personal assistance?
I definitely know Ashton does, because I was there once when he was naked, and she's in from college.
Okay.
And she's back there while I was sitting on the couch waiting to, do my duties, do my work as personal assistant. And he's in the bathtub, of course, completely naked, and Ashton's probably sitting beside of him on the toilet. Having
we're not accusing Ashley of using the toilet, but you're saying, or Ashton,
she's close by.
She's sitting on the toilet talking to her naked dad.
Yeah. Why he literally gets up to dry off with a towel, walking around.
So just so I'm clear, this kind of parading around naked behavior wasn't like a one-off or one time or just with you. He's engaging in this with his 18 or 19-year-old daughter in the same bathroom while he's taking a bath?
To me, as here I am slightly away from them in that living room part of the quarters.
Yeah.
I can hear their every word of their conversation. They're talking about family life, mom this, and
the
your
stock
brother,
market or
whatever.
Yeah.
How's school?
Well, Garrett, so if they're just at like mundane level conversation, and he's walking around without a stitch of clothing on with his at 18, you're an adult.
Yeah.
When did that behavior start? Would behavior like that start the day after you?
Oh no, it's happened before. It was normal for them, and definitely not normal for me.
Did you ever see anything similar with Ashton? Because as a personal assistant, you were probably there at the church, but working on grounds or working on landscaping?
Yes. So that type of behavior or something similar to it, I experienced at the home too. Once I was there, Ashton, this might be the summer of 2008, Ashton's home. It could have been just a weekend. And I'm there cleaning or doing my duties, and she walks out of the bathroom with just a towel on upstairs. And maybe she came downstairs. I was nearby.
Yeah.
Of course, I immediately turned my head, and
she would have known that there was
people there, because you could hear us talking. Her mother's there, Joni's there, Austin's there, I'm there, Ashley's there.
Yeah.
We're doing whatever we're doing.
Right.
And Ashton, in similar fashion as Rod, parades around in a towel. She's covered. Yeah. But it was still an uncomfortable event for me.
Your wife is right there.
My wife is right there.
You're 25. That's the whole thing.
It's weird. Completely weird.
Yeah.
Johnny might have made a comment like, Ashton, please, get back upstairs, whatever. Of course, I'm doing...
So Ashton walks around in a towel with strangers in the house. But she's also comfortable hanging out with her naked father taking a bath while she's sitting on the toilet talking to him. And all this is happening in front of the personal assistants. You and we'll beep it, but at the time...
weird.
Is there anything else in your life that you've experienced that is as weird and strange as this?
Never in my life. I never experienced anything like that in my life. So being around them and their family culture was shocking to me.
But over and over again, just a part of modus operandi, you are expected to be a personal assistant that takes instructions and has to interact with a completely naked worldwide evangelist.
Right.
And be okay when his 18-year-old daughter comes in, and be okay with waiting out in really close proximity while she's in there, while he's taking a bath. And then, although you didn't see exactly the same thing with her, she parades around in a towel with known staffer.
Yeah.
Who else do you think has been exposed to this kind of stuff?
Well, I'm sure others have, but for me, it was just a total shocker for me. It's like we mentioned earlier, it's images and thoughts and experiences that, I'll never forget.
In a little bit, I'm going to ask you the question, if Rod Parsley were sitting right here, what would you want to say to him? But what I'm going to do right now is I think we could belabor this, but I think we've covered it. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I am just rolling. Listen, I've got you for the time that I have. So here's what we're going to do.
Daystar Network.
I wanted to say thank you so much to Daystar.
Yes.
We love you so much, and we thank you for everything you're doing for the Soul Winning Network.
Text
Actually,
everybody
never even
you
seen
know
Daystar.
and tell them Parsley's on fire again. You better tune in to Daystar. There's about to be a fresh mantle fall. I was live from Dominion Camp Meeting on the Daystar Network.
We have some very special people watching. We've got Daystar, and we wanted to say thank you for everything you're doing. We love you so much.
I want to say to all the great Daystar family, we went on the Daystar Network when it was one station. Come on, I can't hear you on Daystar. I want to hear you shout. I want you to welcome all of our wonderful, wonderful, amazing, incomparable friends at the great Daystar Network. We are right now live
here we go.
2.3 billion homes.
Robyn, they got 400 or 500 people in the building.
Listen, and even if you go and look at the views on Dominion Camp Meeting, I mean, I think their biggest viewing was maybe 14,000, which it's nothing to blink about, but 14,000 is a big difference to 2.3 billion.
I'm blinking. But here's the thing. They've doubled down. Since the death of Joni Lamb, people have not said, whoa. We need to back up. We need to, Lord, search our hearts and walk in the fear of the Lord. Just the opposite. I've only got you for a certain amount of time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to this clip. I'm going to send you this clip if you want it, but I want to go kind of to the end. A lot of this is Parsley, but I feel like we'll run out of time.
As you're turning, we want to be sure to welcome the Daystar viewing audience and the nations that are watching. Come on, via live stream around the world.
Tomorrow night, he's not just going.
Robyn, have you ever seen this guy? Do you know who this guy is?
Oh, he makes me want to puke, just like Rod Parsley. David Amos.
Can you just give a brief, just catch people up? Some people are seeing this for the first time. Please, just take a couple minutes. You were well within our time frame. People need to know about Brother Amos.
Well, David Amos, again, I'm going to try to give the best description in the most efficient way here, but I was there when David Amos was hired at World Harvest Church, and I was not actually involved in any of the interviewing or anything like that. So I met him when he actually showed up to do his new hire paperwork, and he started bragging about being from Ashland, Kentucky, and down from where my dad lives and actually where I grew up. And when he found out I was from down there, he kind of shut up a little bit. And I guess now I know why. So he was a part of the Nazarene Church, which was the denomination that my dad went to. My grandparents were missionaries for the Nazarene Church. And the pastor that was at my dad's church actually left to start a street mission and ended up having another church organization that they started. Well, David Amos, we'll say, stole that church from underneath of him. And in the meantime, was getting a divorce from his wife, was with another woman that he allegedly was having an affair with at the prison he was working at. He could not be ordained by the Nazarene Church, and lo and behold, guess who would ordain him? City Harvest Network, which is another Rod Parsley organization. And he ended up turning the church from more of like a Nazarene denomination to a Pentecostal denomination to please World Harvest Church and City Harvest Network. And then he was offered the position to come and run City Harvest Network and basically become a mini Rod Parsley and try to encourage other churches to come up underneath of this leadership and organization, which they do not do any background checks. They do not find out if you're in good standings with your organization, with your family. They do not do any due diligence. As long as you're willing to pay the money, you can become a part of City Harvest Network. And during his time there, it was actually not right after I left. So I had started the podcast, and David was investigated for sexually harassing one of the young girls that was working in his department for at least a year. And it was proven to be true, and they kept him employed.
I'm still here, by the way. Yeah, they kept him employed, and oh my gosh, we covered that.
And in fact, I think they promoted him after, and that young girl, to my knowledge, still is working there as well.
Yeah, but we have to give credit where credit is due, Robyn. David Amos is very skilled at the art of rehearsal. Because, as you will recall, when he was going to bring his buddy Blake along to be like his lieutenant at the church, that he spent all kinds of money on Rod Parsley without the church knowing about it, they did a really good rehearsal of the mercy fall. Do you mind what is a mercy fall, Robyn? And then we got one more thing, and I'll get you out of here on time, I promise. What's a mercy fall?
A mercy fall is when anybody comes up and hits you in the head that you automatically will fall over.
And they practiced it before the service. And there was a new Christian, Rick Skeens, he was there at that time. I think it was right there, but there was a very new young Christian that was volunteering in the sound booth. And I can't imagine how confusing that would be. Oh, the power of God moves and it's wonderful, but we fake it. But we want people to, okay, I'll do this. So yeah, there was a lot of, well, let's at least let Brother Amos finish and then
address Dominion Camp Meeting. He's going to address the Church of Jesus Christ across the world. Daystar got a hold of us and said, for the first time in a decade, we've got to put Dominion Camp Meeting live on television. Hey.
And Robyn, there's more. Listen, they think that they've got something back that they lost.
Nations that are watching, come on, via live stream around the world.
Are they really reaching the world, Robyn?
No, they are not reaching the world. And, it is not a flex to be on Daystar, and it's not a flex for Daystar to have Rod Parsley and Dominion Camp Meeting. I'm sure that they're both hurting for money. They discounted the spots at Daystar. Rod Parsley took advantage of that. And because they don't really make money off of TV, Wayne talked about that in that same episode where he talks about Rod getting, losing his 10 a.m. spot on Daystar after Marcus Lamb passed away. Okay.
The donor
Okay.
system went back into the 90s. That was the latest years it had.
Okay.
But really, like mid 90s, late 90s is when it took off. And the thing I sent you that you can open now. There's two things there. One is a salary report by department for the ministry. So what this was is
what is that named? What is that named on here? Just so I can pull it up.
It's in the one that's like WHC and it ends with 2. And there's a few things in it. But one of them is that.
Oh, I see it. Okay. Okay.
All right. So
okay.
That report is, you can do whatever. But this report was first time I saw this data. And this was in 2019. We were before 2020 actually happened. So it's got 2020, but we were planning for 2020. It's not actual like 2020.
Okay.
Although 2020 wasn't a bad year for that. And on that report, I think the best way to show it is if you look at the pie chart. Do you have the pie chart?
Let me take a look.
Did I send you that?
I'm sure I do.
It's just one page with a big pie chart.
Okay. I might be on the wrong thing, but you can keep going. I'll find it.
All right. Well, yeah, if not, I'll figure it out. But here's the gist. Here's what's important. So on this report, it breaks out housing, regular, and annual. Housing is for your housing expense. Ministers can get a tax exempt status with that.
Mm-hmm. And I do see that.
Yeah. So, but you can first go down and you'll see that there's a department called executive. And that department has $66,000 in housing and $155,000 in regular for a total of $221,000. Now, the people that are in that are not Rod Parsley. If you look down that report to the bottom and look at the very last line, they have a department that is called XXXX.
Yep, I see that.
This department has a housing income of $443,799, a regular income of $1,168,189, for a total of $1,611,988. Now, is that only Pastor Parsley? Does that include Ashton or Joni? That accounting's got to answer. What I can tell you is there's nobody else in the ministry that has $443,000 in housing. That's $38,000 a month, I believe, if you divide it by 12 in housing expense. And so what stands out when you look at the pie chart is the number to compare that to is the total amount paid to all of the HPS teachers. HPS teachers in whole, housing and regular together, $1,462,787.
Yep.
XXX, $1,611,000. We have a school that I pulled my children out of because they were getting horrible results on any standardized testing. I had respected teachers tell me, you need to get your kids out. This is a really bad influence on them. And I did. I homeschooled. But it's been an ongoing issue. We underpay, in my opinion, we underpay teachers. We use people that aren't even certified so that we can, because it's like the nuns kind of thing of a Catholic school, they could do that. And, and the other thing is kind of, and for me to think that, like, when I look at that number, what speaks to me, the reason I'm here the most, like, I have worked through the years. I've carried pain. I've dealt with problems with, not money or different things or whatever, just stressful life things. I have worked with employees that have had that type of situations in their life, and a little bit of difference would make a big difference.
Yeah.
But all of that time the answer is no, we don't have any money for you. No, we don't have any money to help. No, we don't have money for work at the school. Like one of the last department head meetings I was in, The gentleman from facilities actually raised the concern publicly at this meeting because it had not got resolved in his off trying to reach the school. But he's talking about how they got grants and they put in cameras all through the school so they could monitor in the church. And they got it as part of the school. And so at that time, at least, the problem was they didn't have a security member that they could pay to just watch the cameras. So they were just letting it record and then going about. Well, he's coming back and seeing that there are students going into the upstairs, changing areas above the stage, girls and guys disappearing in there for long periods of time. And he said there was an area of the building that no one was supervising and it was a problem, and he's mentioned it. And he's like, hey guys, this is like, I'm bringing it up. Like, I don't know what else to say. And it was one of those, oh, we'll have an offline meeting. But like, to just pay a security guard to stand at the, like he could take that out of his salary. You'd have a kid, someone watching and helping keeping these kids, that have been entrusted to that.
Yeah. Well, and what's the point of having him? But even when I was there, Wayne, I mean, I was begging to even be able to pay people $10 an hour.
Yes.
And we've got this is a big difference in a salary for a person. I mean, that even just that housing allowance is more than what 10 or 15 people together make in a year.
Yes. I mean, it just,
good grief.
It was, like I said, at that point, it was like really starting to get a little clearer. And so I'm saying all that. So what's going on over the years is Pastor Parsley, in my experience in the early years, whatever the bottom line to improve the net was, he was behind. So like, is he making good decisions? If you were judging based on, is he doing it based on, are we making a positive change or not? The answer was pretty much always yes, most of the time, at least in the world that I was responsible for. But when we were going, like, they got very, very, very aggressive in asking and mailing and stuff. And in 2007, they said it fell off a cliff. That was used; those words were used a lot. And money started. That was when they thought they were going to 100 million, and all of a sudden it was a drop, and things started to go down. Since that time, there have been repeatedly every single person I know that does analysis and gives pastor advice on this type of thing. We're all in unison that we needed to cut television spending, that it was a waste of money, that by all the metrics we've used for years, it was not working, and we need to stop doing it. And the only person that adamantly never let that happen was Rod Parsley. I mean, that happened when they had to. Like, it was literally like, we're not going to, like, World Harvest is not cash rich. Like, there's been the number of times I've seen where they're trying to figure out how to get payroll or the earning or the school money that they get for all the ed choice didn't show up when they thought it was going to show up, and all of a sudden it was like, we don't have money to pay stuff. And it's just crazy. But for the years I could never, and I mean all the way up until recently, that's just been the climate. We just keep being on TV, and the response has just got abysmal. I mean, really, I think
and they spend. I mean, if I'm looking at one of these reports correctly, I mean, they spend over $1 million a year just to be on TV. Correct?
Oh yeah, it's been millions in the past. That's like TBN and Daystar are at a whole nother level of money to pay for. TBN informed Pastor Parsley that he was not allowed to be on their network because of his aggressive tactics. They tried making rules to limit it.
Begging for money.
And he would try to get as close to the rules without breaking them. And little by little, they just eventually said, nope, you're out of here. You're not on. In that moment, I watched Pastor Parsley go from having nothing but been positive about TBN and the Crouches to airing all kinds of dirty laundry about them in the meeting.
But we do what we do by faith. And thank you to our supporters that go to ohioforfreedom.com and take advantage of our PayPal link or our bank card link. We get a really, really good rate on our bank card exchange. Thank you, Aaron, who set that up for us. Our Zelle link, we do not get an email so that we can send you a thank you. So we say thank you in advance. And there are lots of folks that still like to use good old-fashioned snail mail, and we have a Ohio for Freedom P.O. Box, P.O. Box 344, Mason, Ohio 45040. And so until next time, folks, God bless you. Good night, everybody.